Oh man, okay. If you've been here a while as a Caitlin Clark fan, you know one thing that is guaranteed. No matter what she does, they will one, find fault, and they will two, move the goalpost. No matter what she achieves, they will move the goalpost. And now we've got Jason Whitlock, who has lost his freaking mind. The man is obsessed with attacking Caitlin Clark's fans with playground, pathetic playground insults while passively aggressively and sometimes just flat out aggressively attacking Caitlin Clark for every single thing while giving other players, not only giving them a pass, but he actually said that Angel Reese is a more mature player than Caitlin Clark. We're going to get some clips on Angel Reese, and I'm interested because I can't get him to respond when I come with the receipts. I'd like to see what Jason Whitlock has to say about these things. But first, we're going to listen to him. He decided that after Caitlin Clark dropped 37 and 10, that he was going to do a segment calling us a cult, bashing Caitlin Clark, and how she never can perform in big games. We won't even get to the massive big games that she played in college. But, like I said, Jason has lost his mind. I don't know if he's trying to claw his way back onto the reservation or, he's just gotten some cash in his pocket or he's just desperate for the attention. But we'll break it down. It'll be fun. I promise. Welcome back to the channel. Real quick favor before we get into this. Hit the like button before you forget. Subscribe to the channel. Make sure, if you have already, make sure you're still subscribed. YouTube gets crazy that way. I just found, I can't even remember the channel now. It's a channel on horror movies that I had subscribed to a little while back that I was unsubscribed to by YouTube. So make sure you're subscribed, comment down below. Y'all know the drill. All right, here we go. Y'all ready?
Same Caitlin Clark, two different leagues. Sunday night, she dropped 37 and 10 on the Chicago Sky. 8 3-pointers. It looked like a coronation. It was a body bag. And the body in the bag was the same one that always shows up whenever the schedule serves up a bad team. That's the entire Caitlin Clark season in a single weekend.
We're going to shred everything he just said in a moment because that is 100% a lie. Like I said, he has lost his mind. Jason Whitlock has become an absolute clown. He's become the punchline to every single joke. He is being laughed at and mocked. Everything he posts, he gets wrecked in the comments because no one has any respect for him at all anymore. But let's just start real quick with Chicago specifically. He called them a bottom feeder, and Caitlin Clark's game not only doesn't matter, it was actually bad. Interestingly, he didn't say Kelsey Mitchell's 30 points was bad. But let's take a look at some of the facts regarding the Chicago situation. Chicago came into the game against the Indiana Fever still with a chance to make the playoffs. Indiana is the team that eliminated them. So it's a big game for Chicago. They also came in on a 3-game winning streak. Oh, and the two teams they beat before that, the Golden State Valkyries, who are currently seated number 2 in the WNBA. Only the Minnesota Lynx sit higher in the standings than Golden State. And before that, gosh, it was the New York Liberty. That's who beat Chicago. The same New York Liberty who then just beat Indiana before the Chicago game. So, and that supposed trash defense, seventh, folks, in the WNBA rating. So there's just, and of course, we've heard often about the defensive prowess of the likes of Natasha Cloud and Dejanay Carrington, whose heads Caitlin Clark dropped her 37 points. But we'll get into other games in a moment. But, I just wanted to clear up the Chicago thing.
Saturday night in New York against one of the better teams in the league, she melted down in the final 4 minutes. Blew assignments, committed fouls that would embarrass a rookie, whined at the officials, foul baited her way out of a winnable game. Missed 2.
We'll get to the whining with his mature friend Angel Reese in a moment. Caitlin Clark did not have a great game against New York. I don't think anyone's denying that. Was she terrible? No, and that's kind of interesting, right? Her bad games are better than most players' good games. He has no receipts for her blowing assignments. They were definitely making some adjustments in how they were playing and how they were who they were guarding and the defense they were playing. I think they even mixed in some zone a little bit, and so I couldn't tell you from the film other than literal 1v1 plays for anyone who, if anybody, was actually blowing assignments. So that's just wishful thinking on Jason's part because he is desperate to attack anything and everything Caitlin Clark does.
Free throws. It was the typical Caitlin meltdown in a big game.
Have you? I'm almost not sure how to even approach that at this point. They typical, in other words, every big game Caitlin Clark ever plays, she's terrible, is what Jason Whitlock is saying. Again, do we need to talk about the massive big game she had in college? Do we need to talk about winning MVP for U19 USA basketball in the World Cup? You know, the World Cup that they're about to play soon for the U19 team. She led them to a gold medal and won MVP. I mean, this is just, again, this is childish and breathtakingly ignorant from someone who I would think would have some people that could do some basic research for him so that he doesn't completely embarrass himself with absolute ridiculous statements like Caitlin Clark not playing well in a big game is typical of Caitlin Clark. It is absurd.
And Sunday against Chicago, a team going nowhere, 37 and 10, 8 threes, total command, same player, two different leagues.
Again, I just broke down the Chicago they were playing at the time. I'd just like to take a minute, if I may, to point out just the stupidity of all of this in general. You know, it's one of those stats that I've always hated when, any player. I mean, it could be LeBron now, Michael Jordan. You can go to baseball. They could do it with, they do it with slugger stats and stuff, and they'll be like, Michael Jordan averaging 37 points per game and shooting 57% when the Bulls win, and averaging 28 points a game and shooting 43% when they lose. Or well, yeah. I mean, that's kind of how it works. I mean, in general, a player's numbers, any player, any team statistically, well, they're going to be better against bad teams than they are against good teams, right? It's always like you beat the teams you're supposed to beat, and then you hold your own against the good team. A quarterback's going to have better passing numbers against bad pass defenses than it is against top pass defenses. So that's a little absurd. It's also incorrect, actually, in Caitlin Clark's point, but we'll get to that.
And the Clark social media cult spent the whole weekend pretending it's one league. They
Caitlin Clark's fans are a cult. Jason uses this word repeatedly, and yet this grown ass man is 24/7 obsessed with attacking Caitlin Clark and her fans. I'm just saying that might be the mental illness that needs to be looked into.
push the one number. The Fever win a higher percentage of games when Clark is the leading scorer than when Kelsey Mitchell is. They presented it as proof Clark is the MVP.
Again, this is another example of Jason lying. I'm going to say you can say spinning if you want to be generous, but this is a lie. Have people pointed this out? Yeah, I have. I have pointed it out. Many other people have pointed out. It is a fact. It is a statistic that is true. When Caitlin Clark is the leading scorer, the Indiana Fever are a better team in terms of results. There's no disputing that. No one has taken this number and said this is proof Caitlin Clark is an MVP. That is Jason Whitlock making something up that sounds absurd to discredit the people who are supporting Caitlin Clark. Right? It's just one of those. It's one of those things. I'm sure we've all done it in situations. You have an argument with someone, maybe especially if you're losing, and you take what they say to an absolute extreme, which is of course they didn't mean it that way, but that's where you take it to make it seem like their argument is ridiculous. That's what Jason Whitlock's doing right here. I mean, this is third grade mentality stuff. No one said this statistic and this statistic alone is proof that Caitlin Clark is MVP. That is just a lie. That is a lie, my man.
They left out the reason. Kelsey Mitchell plays her best against the best. Mitchell is flatline, 25 a night against Las Vegas, against New York, against whoever shows up with length. Clark's numbers crater the moment real defense steps on the floor. That Colt stat isn't evidence Clark is better. It's evidence Mitchell carries the hard games while Clark feasts on the soft ones.
You saying this is evidence you're a freaking moron, Jason Whitlock. You are a moron. I'm done. I've had it with you. You're an absolute clown. You lie about everything. You lie about everything. No one from any team is defended the way Caitlin Clark is defended, whether it's a good team or a bad team. They're all running 2, 3, 4 players at her at a time. Mitchell in her life has never been guarded like that. And she gets easy shots against every team because of the way Caitlin Clark is guarded, you absolute buffoon. And again, we'll get to the numbers about this bullshit that you keep spinning, the Caitlin Clark craters against good teams. Because again, flat out lie. You're an idiot, Jason Whitlock. I'm done playing nights with you. You want to go after YouTubers. You want to say people like Venom are poison. You're a freaking clown, my man. You are a loser.
NBC's Ashley Shamati reported that Sophie Cunningham called Mitchell the Fever's MVP for this season. The Clark content machine lost its mind, but Cunningham plays with both of them. She knows.
What Clark content machine? I mean, I never even heard this. I certainly never heard Sophie say it. And I, for one, never, ever in this day and age take a reporter saying someone said something as true. I want to hear that person say it. And maybe she did, but I've never heard Sophie Cunningham saying this. I certainly never did a video on it. I mean, I'm going to assume I'm part of that content machine. Maybe not. I mean, he did try and get me on his show, so I assume that he knows who I am since he contacted me.
Who shows up when the games actually matter the most. Now here's the part the Colt won't sit still for. Clark was better Sunday night. She mostly ignored Dejanay Carrington. She kept her head. That's real progress, and it's the exact reason she has never been a legitimate MVP candidate this season. She gets too emotional against top competition, and her shot follows her head. You cannot be the MVP of the league when your game runs and hides the moment the best teams walk in. Clark has 5 games left. The right goal is not a regular season MVP trophy.
He just rattles on about how she has to play well in the playoffs. Everything he just said there is an absolute lie. By the way, correct me if I'm wrong, but I am pretty sure that Player of the Week she just got recently, I believe that included the New York Liberty, the Dallas Wings, and the Atlanta Dream. 3 playoff teams. 3 playoff teams. And we'll get to those in a minute, right? Okay, so that right there shows you it's a lie. But I mean, we can just rattle off some of these, right? Dallas, these are all playoff teams, right? I'm only going to give you stuff against playoff teams. And the worst record for a playoff team is Dallas in the 8th spot right now. And I think they're like, right, they all have winning records this year. There's no near 500 team, right? Dallas is 23-16, almost a 60% win percentage. So, all of these that I'm rattling off are against playoff teams. 20.7 assists, 5 rebounds against Dallas. 32 points, 10 assists against Washington. 22 points, 9 assists on only 15 shots in a win against Golden State. Again, the number 2 seed right now, the second best record in the WNBA. Let's see, we got 26.7 assists against Atlanta, 26 points and 7 assists against Atlanta again in back-to-back games. We've got That 45er was dropped on Seattle. 19 points, 10 assists against Minnesota, 20 points, 8 assists against the Las Vegas Aces, 22 points, 10 assists against the Liberty, 29 points, 10 assists against Dallas, 26 points, 9 assists against Atlanta, 21 points, 7 assists against the Liberty, which is a game he said she was absolutely terrible in. So, on and on and on. And it's just everything that Jason Whitlock said is a lie. It's gotten pathetic at this point. It's gotten pathetic at this point that this guy sits there and just constantly calls Caitlin Clark fans and passively aggressively attacks her. I've seen multiple things where he's talked about, and you heard it there briefly about her, her maturity and how she crashes out. And all. By the way, some players are better when they get fired up. Caitlin Clark is one of those. But he also said at one point that Angel Reese, right? He's jumping on the Angel Reese bandwagon. Angel Reese is a more mature player than Caitlin Clark. This Angel Reese. Y'all see that? Yeah, let's show that again. And then now watch this as she goes down the court. I don't give an F. That is the maturity of Jason Whitlock's Angel Reese. Or, maybe we could look at this. Let's see how this works out. Get down in that post, Angel. Get down. Oh, look. Oh, and then she throws her temper tantrum. Did you see that? Did you see that jump up and down? Like, oh my God. How did you not give me? I'm Make-A-Wish Sid. How did you not give me the ball? And then she gets the ball and it goes out, and then she's complaining and she's all upset because she's throwing a hissy fit because that's who Angel Reese is. But again, Jason Whitlock has put her on a pedestal now because he's decided he's going to be the villain when it comes to Caitlin Clark and her fan base. He's going to embrace the old guard and WNBA and everything they stand for. Jason Whitlock is on board with it. We were not even getting into how you can call someone like Angel Reese mature, who multiple times has lied and accused people of racial slurs. I don't even remember which one this is. I think this is where she just gets obliterated and embarrassed by Cam. And then, right, there's an offensive foul. She gets blocked. No, y'all catch that? The second time, first there's an elbow there. Didn't call, gets blocked. Now watch this elbow by Angel Reese. Dude, are you kidding me? That is a brutal, this is a flagrant foul, and it's not even called a regular foul. No, then she gets blocked again, and then she's on the court and she starts crying because she's a freaking big baby who's a terrible basketball player. That's all. But she's mature. She's mature according to Jason Whitlock. She's the mature one. And this is I'm sorry, I don't mean to be mean to Kelsey Mitchell, but since now he wants to put her up on a pedestal as a way to attack Caitlin Clark, we'll take a look at this is Kelsey Mitchell against that New York Liberty team, by the way, in that game. All right, so this was Kelsey Mitchell against the New York Liberty in that big game he's talking about that Caitlin Clark apparently self-destructed in. Like, what are we doing? I mean, this is all about Kelsey Mitchell getting her points. That's all about Kelsey Mitchell getting her points. Wow. Anyway, I had to get that off my chest. I know some people say, oh, don't get into it with someone like Jason Whitlock, just ignore it. But I had enough. Anyway, let me know your thoughts in the comments below. Like, comment, subscribe. I will talk to you later.